Live from First Street Studios in South Tampa, Florida. It's time for another round of Last Call.
Dan, not too many arguments get my dander up more online than when people say players from yesteryear can't make it today. I've heard it about Babe Ruth. Said he'd be a bomb today. He'd be quad A player. Said he'd be Dan Vogelbach. Missed me with that nonsense. Jordan couldn't make it today. Wilt Chamberlain couldn't make it today. So I want to ask you, do you think the players from yesteryear could flourish in today's game?
Absolutely.
Fill me in why.
Well, so I look at it a few different ways. We'll never know, first of all. So we're basically going down.
Spitballing.
We're spitballing, right? Going down a rabbit hole. However, we know by some sports, baseball, people have been throwing 70, 80, 90 mile an hour pitches back then.
That we know of.
That you brought up, that we know of. So baseball technology in the game, still the bat, still the same baseball, right?
Right.
Would we all agree to that?
Absolutely.
Still the same base size. So nothing from Babe Ruth's time has gotten any better. No matter how many batting machines, no matter how much chronographs, whatever, nothing has gotten to where, let's say, Cal Ripken came out as a rookie right now, he wouldn't be successful. Would you agree to that?
If he came out today?
Yeah.
He would absolutely be successful because modern technology gives him a lot more than throwing wood, chopping wood, and running on treadmills.
Okay, so what I'm saying, though, those guys that played back then, your question was, could Ricky Henderson still compete in Major League Baseball? 100%. Could McGuire? Absolutely, because we're getting back to baseball, not taking a dig at it.
Right.
Again, as a sport.
Let's throw football then.
Okay, throw football.
Johnny Unitas.
Johnny Unitas, right now, okay, Joe Namath, Dan Marino, if they walked in their size and stature at that time, they could absolutely play in the NFL, especially now with the Brady rule. And the thing is, because they weren't slow. You go to, okay, so here's a good example. Go to combine scores, okay, and we'll leave it at this. So I hope all you're listening, because I'm going to break it down for you. Go to combine scores, okay? Deion ran a 4.2, okay? So here's your argument. Darryl Green ran a 4.1 or a 4.2 in his combine. These are players that played in the 70s. I think Darryl came in early 80s, late 70s, early 80s. Deion came in the late 80s, early 90s, right? Mm-hmm. So 20 years. So my question to you is, do you really think that the game and their speed and their size, there's players in the NFL right now that are 180 pounds.
Yeah.
So what is everybody's hang up that is saying, the only thing that's gotten better is healing time, injury time, fitness, everything else, nutrition, but, concussion protocols, right? But other than that, we've been seeing 4.1s, 4.2s, and 4.3s in combines since, we're talking 70s and 80s.
Brother, now you're seeing 350, 400 pounds, 4.4.
Well, that's okay, because that's going to end my point here, though, and then we're going to move on. But my point to the whole thing is, now you just don't have Deion and Darryl Green, okay, running that speed on the team.
Right.
Now you got Micah Parsons, and you got a tight end, and you got a receiver, and you got a punt returner. I don't know about a left tackle yet. If you can show me a 4.2 left tackle, I want to see it. But you know what I'm saying, though.
Followed.
So now the game hasn't got faster in the sense of speed per player. It's just more players can run the faster speeds. So can a lot of the yesteryear players play in the skill positions? Absolutely they can, right? Michael Jordan, if he came out of North Carolina right now, especially the way it's all a three-point league, he would have to craft the three-pointer, but absolutely he could play.
No bias here. I'm a Dan Marino fan. I've seen players like Ryan Tannehill put up 4,000-yard season. I'm going to close my thoughts on this. Dan Marino would put up 6,000 yards in 2020.
Well, he's not getting hit.
Of course not. With a quick release?
That guy would never get hit in today's NFL.
No.
Seriously. He would be hitting them second and third and fourth windows faster than what these NFL quarterbacks are hitting them now. His quick release was unbelievable. There's a few in the league. Purdy has a nice one over at San Francisco, real quick release. I think he's 2-3.
Yeah.
But other than that, dude, absolutely. A lot of the players could play. I will say this, though. The linemen of yesteryear, I would not agree the same. Is that fair? Yes. In the skill positions, 100%, they could play in any sport that they played in since the inception in the skilled positions. The linemen are the difference now.
Absolutely.
Size-wise, because you got guys that used to be 270 back in the days of the Dallas Steelers time, 260, and now you got dudes that are 340 that could do it just as fast or faster. So does that make sense? Is that a good way to end it?
100%. And hey, tell us we're wrong. Tell us we're right.
You can argue with me.
Tell us we're crazy. I am. I got the paperwork to prove it.
All right, but my justification, I think, is correct. I mean, in the skilled positions, we still got kids that are running the same speeds that we've been running since Dallas played in Irving back in the 1970s, 80s. I hate to say it, it's just the truth.
Where do they leave the comments at, Jess?
I'll be in the comments.
The comment section. Keep it PG because Jess will beat you up. We'll see you after the break.
She's the cleaner of the comments.
Last call mailbag. Another week, another fantastic question. This one's local, Dan. I love this question. It's talking about the Bucs. I'm not talking Milwaukee Bucks either. I'm talking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Of course you are.
Of course. Why would I be talking about the Milwaukee Bucks here in Tampa? So there's somebody out there that listening. Well, he's talking Milwaukee. And of course, I'm talking Tampa. All right. This coming from Derek. Derek wants to know, buy or sell? One stays forever, one goes away. Brad Johnson, Vinny Testaverde.
Oh, wow. Where did that come from?
That's a diehard Bucs fan right there.
Okay, so I will say this, though, as a Bucs fan, but also as a Hurricane fan, back when Vinny Testaverde played there, drafted in number 1, of course our team wasn't that great then. He's not the only one that failed as a draft pick there and went on later on, not so much with Vinny, but other players like we talked about in other episodes before, Steve Young's, Doug Williams. Okay, so we've had some players. I will say this, Brad Johnson, because he won a championship. Period. Filled in for Trent Dilfer when Dilfer went, and then ironically a year later they win a championship, right? Kind of a weird set or scenario, but you always go with the champion. Now, do I think Vinny Testaverde was a better quarterback than Brad Johnson? 150%. Played in the toughest college division at that time there was. So I would have to go Brad Johnson as far as a Bucs fan. But as far as a college fan, watching the University of Miami, the U, I'm going with Vinny. What do you think?
So there you hear it, folks. He's picking Brad to stay with the Bucs, but he's kicking Vinny for you. Listen, man.
I'm just being factual.
Speaking factual, right. And that's like, you brought up a good point. Brad wasn't even a starter for that Bucs team. He got in by circumstance and won a Super Bowl, but he led Tampa to their first ever Super Bowl, which something we never thought we would see.
Perhaps not.
Back then. Now we take it for granted. But back then, look, we had all those teams with Tony Dungy that were close but no cigar.
Right.
Brad was the quarterback that led them over the hump. Now, granted, did it take a whole lot of mastery for him to win that Super Bowl with that defense? Probably not, but he was the Super Bowl winning quarterback.
He's like Trent Dilfer, control the game.
Nick Foles, I love Foles, but if you want statistics, you put Vinny on that team, I see they win it. I think you put Vinny on that team, they win 2 or 3.
Perhaps.
Because Vinny was a lot better than people realize.
Yeah, and then he went to other teams that weren't so good. So, it always comes back to the point of right situation, right time. Right. And we talk about it all the time. So that's all I got on that. I mean, I can't go no deeper with that.
That's as deep as I can go. Like I said, if you had to ask me to pick which quarterback I'd rather have for the Buccaneers, Testaverde historically, but I can't turn that Super Bowl away. So I'm going to go with Brad.
All right. Okay. Are we good?
We are now, ladies and gentlemen. We're always good here on Last Call 76. More mailbag next week.
It's good. Keep.